Episode 81, 2020 Memories.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's pretty rocks. I love pooping.
Me too.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Completely aware.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Let me hear you say, let me hear you say. So you're a tough guy, just like me.
Hello and welcome to this episode of 5 to 1. 5 to 1 is all about the countdown from our panel of experts on a different topic each episode. Today, we are featuring the most memorable moments of 2020 and our style of counting down from
5 to 1. Thanks, Jet, for helping me on that one.
Is your mic on? Just talking to it.
Oh,
There,
yeah,
now it's on. What a weird year 2020 was for just about everybody. Hang on, let me turn this down just a little bit. This medley's kind of cool, but it's a little bit
Those
loud.
songs were made in 2020.
Yeah, it's a 2020 mashup.
The biggest song of all time. Old Town
Yeah,
Road.
was that 2020?
Yeah.
I almost picked the 9 Inch Nails original of that song because I've been listening to 9 Inch Nails a lot lately.
Should have.
But I couldn't remember if that was 2020 or 2019.
Crazy how that's like the biggest song of all time.
I don't know.
And it was like a joke.
So yeah, it has now holds the record for being the number one song on the Billboard Hot 100 for the longest amount of time, and I think it beat it by quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, but yeah, that is crazy. We're talking about Lil Nas X, Old Town Road. Mm-hmm. For many years now, basically from like the advent and proliferation of social media as like a regular part of our lives, we get near the end of each year and these memes start to float around like on Facebook and Instagram and whatever, Twitter, whatever social media you use about how bad the past year has been. Like how we can't wait until next year. Next year will be better. I usually see these and I do a mental eye roll. Like 2019 was essentially the same as 2018, which was essentially the same as 2017, etc. 2020 though, 2020 kind of stands out. And it was weird. We seem to be dealing with one global devastation after another for the entire year.
I'm confused on one thing. Why do people say like 2021 is going to be better?
Yeah.
Isn't time just like a relative concept? Like, didn't we make up time?
Yeah, no.
Time's not even real.
It's a man-made construct, and that was the next thing I was getting to. Yeah, I'm glad you said that because we're using this podcast to reflect on 2020 because it's done. But I don't think we can put brackets around 2020 and call all the weirdness like done. 2021 is here, but the atmosphere that caused a lot of the 2020 problems is still here too.
Yeah,
it's not that much different. So while I'm hopeful for improvement, I'm also realistically looking at the future. And I'm not expecting 2021 to like suddenly fix the world.
No.
Just 'cause we're in
If anything, people's attitudes just change as soon as the year started because they're hoping for things to be better.
Yeah, there's a little bit more hope. We also had like a big change in our political regime. So people are kind of looking forward to things and just hoping that a lot of the bad stuff from 2021 is done. But, it's not like you can just, I don't know, it's not like you hit January 1st and you hit the switch.
All the problems are gone.
Yeah, exactly. So that being said, today we are talking all things 2020, good and bad, memories that stand out to us, how this past year affected our lives, and I'm actually really looking forward to this discussion, Mr. Jet.
We all are.
Not for the usual reason that I think it'll be a super fun episode, but because I am genuinely interested in how both of you feel about what happened this past year. And it'll be an episode for posterity. Maybe you'll listen to it in 20 years, and when you have your own kids, you can talk about how weird 2020 was for all of us. But that's 20 years from now. So before we get much further, let's introduce our panel of 2020 experts. I am CK, and I'm joined by my two weird sons.
Cade Moore.
That's my 16-year-old.
Jet Moore.
That's my now 14-year-old. And we are
5 to 1.
I'm 40, BT Dubs. And Jet just celebrated his 14th birthday a couple weekends ago. So happy birthday, son. I love you. This is the first recording of your 14th year.
I wish I could go backwards.
I always tell you to go backwards every year. I'm like, dude, this year, go backwards 1 year, and you never listen to me.
Why didn't you go backwards?
I would. Once you hit adulthood, it doesn't let you go backwards anymore. But happy birthday, for real, and I love you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's do a little bit of
Feedback.
The only real feedback I got about our last episode, which was about rappers, if you remember, it was way back in November, is that the newer rappers were basically not known by some of our listeners because a lot of our listeners were my age, right, or close. So looking back, maybe I should have kept my list of all old school and let you guys talk about the new guys. But I really like some of the new guys. But you guys had that part covered. So yeah, I think our demographic like kind of skews towards 30 to 40 years old. You two,
Isn't there a way to check?
Yeah, probably. I don't pay attention to the statistics. Every now and then I go look at our total downloads. I'm like, oh wow, we hit 15,000 or whatever, but I don't really ever pay attention. Honestly, we don't do this show for. I mean, it'd be cool if a lot of people listen, but that's not why I enjoy recording.
I don't really care.
I don't really do any marketing or anything like that. But if you're listening and you like the show, tell your friends. Also, Kate and Jet, you guys should market to your friends better because
I try my best.
Yeah,
I have friends, or I tell them about it.
you have friends. I have friends.
I mean, I have friends who listen to it.
Yeah, you do.
I try.
Yeah,
I don't really tell anyone.
See, you should because it's something you should be proud of.
I am proud of it. It's just I forget about it a lot because we don't do it as often, you know.
Yeah, and I don't think that your age listens to podcasts as much as my age does. I mean, TikTok is easier.
Does Cade's age either though?
Probably not a whole lot of people. I mean,
Probably more than your
Yeah.
group, but
the thing about podcasts is that they really have any topic you can think of. Basically, there's a podcast about it, which is really cool because you can find something you're interested in and just run with it. And that goes for pop culture or politics or sports or whatever you're interested in. So I don't know why more kids don't, but
I think kids like watching something.
that's true. Yeah, because a lot of the younger podcasts are on YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is weird to
I mean,
me.
if I were to listen to a podcast, it'd probably be in the car.
In the car. Yeah, that's when I listen. Or like if I'm like doing yard work or whatever. Or working out.
Yeah.
Which I never do. But that was really the only feedback we got. I was going to check for iTunes reviews and I forgot, but I can check real quick. But we did. I did want to mention longtime listener and my good friend Burger PDX on Instagram. He has been reminding me and my other group of friends like daily that there has not been a new 5 to 1 podcast episode out.
Yeah.
So Burger PDX.
We keep doing this every single episode. We're like, sorry, we're back after like 5 months.
I know.
But at least we get back to it.
We're going to try to do it more often. We need to actually start doing it more often.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Well, Burger PDX, here is your episode that you've been waiting for. All right, let's move on to our list. Did you have any rules for your list? Did you have a hard time making your list?
I had a hard time.
Yeah, we all know you had a hard time. Why?
Because 2020 is just, like you said, it's such a weird year. It's just a lot of the stuff that happened in it I don't really want to talk about because I don't find it that interesting. So I was just trying to think of things that would be interesting to talk about.
Okay, that's fair.
2020 was a crazy year for me, and I'm going to remember it.
So yours was easy to come up with.
Yeah, I made mine very, very quickly.
But
I feel like I left a lot of stuff out.
Yeah, I think I did too. I kind of came up with my list quickly, but then I spent a lot of time like fleshing out the ideas because there's a lot to talk about. It was interesting for me because we had these big global things happening that affected all of us collectively, but I took a very personal path in developing my list. So of course, the big global things that they did impact my personal list, but for the purpose of this episode, the memories that stand out the most to me are how those big global things weave themselves into like our lives, if that makes sense.
I didn't do a lot of events. I did mostly just things that I did this year.
Yeah.
Not like events, but like things that impacted me this year.
Gotcha. All right. Are we ready to get started?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, Cade, what's your...
Number 5.
My number 5 is Lil Uzi Vert.
Okay, the rapper that we talked about in our last episode in November.
Big impact on me this year. He was my most listened to artist this year.
Yeah.
And starting at the beginning of the year, like in January, I knew like base level Uzi.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew his hits pretty much. And then I got exposed to his better songs. And then I did my own research and found his other songs. And then from then on, I was like diehard Uzi fan for a long time.
He just got a like gigantic pink diamond embedded into his forehead.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it's great.
I think it's really dumb.
I mean, everyone said the same thing about Flavor Flav, but like you remember Flavor Flav for his clock,
being,
right?
For being really dumb.
No, you remember him from his clock.
I do remember his clock. Yes.
Yeah, so people are gonna remember Uzi for his
diamond
in his
instead of his
forehead.
music. Which one would you rather be remembered for?
I mean, but like if you remember from the diamond, people are like, "Oh, who's this guy?" And then they're gonna look it up and they're gonna listen to his music, and it's good.
Do you do that with Flava Flav?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't. No, I mean I like Uzi. I'm not trying to hate on him. I actually have grown to like him quite a bit through U2 because of U2. I just don't like the diamond. He makes him look like Vision, the hero, and
Vision's lame too.
yeah. And I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the diamond, but I do like Uzi.
He should have got like a diamond implanted in his hand,
And been like Iron Man.
or in his chest.
I mean, with like big diamonds that stand out, Young Thug started it. He had a pink diamond in his tooth.
Okay.
Forgot who did it, but someone had a diamond in their dimple.
Okay.
Sauce Walka had one as a teardrop,
Interesting.
and Uzi has the biggest one in his
So,
forehead.
which female rapper is going to be the first to get diamond nipples?
Nikki.
I think that's already a thing.
Oh, man, I thought I had this great idea.
I mean, I know a song called I mean,
I'll have to bleep that part out.
so I think it's already been a thing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
Uzi had a big impact on me this year.
He sure did. You still listen to him quite a bit. Jet, what's your number 5?
Politics.
Politics. All right. What do you have to say about politics?
Not much, to be honest, except that it's been like huge
Yeah.
this last year, more than any other year. I feel like
Yeah.
I've always kind of hated politics. I think they're super boring. I don't really pick sides. It's affected so many people around me.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And I have some stuff to say about that. I'm going to save it for when it's on my list. But I like how you put that because, I mean, you're 14, so it's not like you have, in 13 and 2020, so it's not like you have a ton of political awareness experience. But you notice this past year, it was more prevalent than in other years. So even if you're not interested in it, you couldn't help but be affected by it in some way.
And I feel like people my age, well, all ages, but my age especially, make way too big of a deal out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And they just try to press their like beliefs, their philosophy of it on me. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that I've always tried with you guys is to let you have your own beliefs and not tell you what to think, but to make sure that you're aware of both sides of the issue.
It's hard.
Yeah,
It's really hard. I tried staying out of it for the longest time, but then it got to the point where me trying to stay out of it was a problem. People
Yeah.
had a problem with me staying
Yeah,
out of it.
same.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember you talking about it. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, like, if with that, because I know you're talking about BLM. And that when people put their black circle profile
Yeah.
pictures up, and you didn't because you were trying to stay out of it, and then you got
Then I got called out,
criticized for
being
not doing it.
racist,
Yeah.
for not having my own input.
there
Whether
was-
they knew or not what my input is on the situation, I still got called out for it.
yeah,
I had this. Well, no one called me out, but like I saw people posting on their story, like if you don't have that, or if you don't say anything about it, or if you don't have the little fist
Yeah.
as your profile picture, you're just as bad as the people protesting.
And the thing is, like, that argument isn't totally invalid because it's saying that if this is something that you care about, and not that they even know that you do, but if you do, why wouldn't you be active to try to make this happen or make these people's lives better? And I had one of my Facebook friends who's extremely politically vocal on Facebook asked a question similar to that. If you're not racist, or if you're not homophobic, or if you're not this or that, then why are you so afraid to say that in front of your other people, your friends? Who are you afraid you're going to piss off? People that are homophobic and racist? Why do you care? And I thought about that for a while. I very rarely speak about politics on social media, and the reasons I don't have nothing to do with what he's saying, but I understand his point of view. Mine is more, you're not going to change anybody's mind on social media. Mm-hmm. All it does is create tension, and nobody changes their mind. And two, I have to be careful about my social media image because of my job. So, and they stress that quite a bit. So I try to keep things as least controversial as I possibly can on social media. But it is an interesting idea because, I mean, if you saw something happening out in the street that you could stop, and you said, well, I care about that person, but I'm not going to do anything, and you just closed the door, do you really care about that person? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the point. But I understand what you're saying too, because it's unfair to assume you're racist because you didn't change your profile picture.
All I wanted to do this year was to keep everyone happy. I wanted to make everyone happy, but you can't obviously do that.
It's impossible.
So speaking my voice, because I have friends on both sides, I don't want to make anyone angry. I just want, I don't know. I don't want it to be part of my life.
You can have
Politics.
I
just want
friendships
everyone
with
to be happy.
people that disagree with you politically. It's just become a lot harder to do that this year. Well, and over the past decade, but especially this past year. And I have some more thoughts on that too, but I'll save it for mine. We've talked about this quite a bit already. All right, Jet, are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, my number 5 is people that passed away. And I think that a lot of people were hit really hard by this during 2020. And our family was no exception. I lost 2 uncles this year, neither to COVID, surprisingly.
What's it called? On mom's side, they also lost
2 uncles on mom's side too. Yeah, and she had several family members that were hospitalized for COVID, and some were very close to death. And it's never an easy process, and the mourning is difficult. This year was especially challenging because the traditional methods of mourning weren't even available to us. You know, virtual funerals and memorials. I happened to be in California when my uncle Dave passed away, and there was nothing I could do. I couldn't even travel back. I was quarantined because we thought Jet had COVID. You got sick at that time, and I'd been around you within the last 4 days. I couldn't even travel home.
Didn't mom have COVID?
Yes, and so did I.
No, but at the time.
Oh, no, not at the time. You got sick, and we thought, oh, man, this is bad. Jet has a fever. And I had to quarantine. I couldn't even go into work because I'd been around you within the last 4 days.
Yep.
And I couldn't travel home. So it was just a weird situation. A lot of celebrities also passed this year. Started off with the shocking death of Kobe Bryant in his helicopter accident. And that was kind of like, oh, great, 2020 is off to a really great start. Kobe Bryant died. That was like the beginning. Right?
I know. That's crazy.
Yeah. Alex.
And it's Kobe. Like, no one thought Kobe would die. Kobe's Kobe. Like,
yeah.
You can't touch Kobe.
Yep. And then it was Alex Trebek from Jeopardy and Sean Connery. Those stood out to me. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. From the Star Wars universe, we lost David Prowse, who was the actor that played.
I didn't even know he died.
Yeah, I know. Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And then Jeremy Bulloch, who was the original Boba Fett, also passed away.
Yeah.
Max von Sydow, he was the dude from the beginning of The Force Awakens that had the plans and he gave them to Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
He passed away this year. So
Really?
some Star Wars deaths, yeah. Then you had Eddie Van Halen, Little Richard, Chadwick Boseman, Regis Philbin, Wilford Brimley, the Asian dude from Mythbusters, Grant Imahara.
How did he die?
He had, I think it was cancer. Pop Smoke,
I was about to say Pop Smoke.
Ian Holm, who played Bilbo, he passed away this year.
You know who I heard about a lot was Eddie Van Halen at school.
Yeah.
Like, I have several male teachers in that age group where
He
was
was
famous.
really cool, yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't stop hearing about him for like a solid week.
He was a big one, but for me, he wasn't even the biggest musician. For me, it was Neil Peart, the drummer from Rush. He passed away this year.
That was a big one. With the same people, too.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, that was a big one.
Kenny Rogers. I mean, there were a bunch. And maybe this year was similar to others when it comes to celebrity deaths, but it sure felt like more. And I think that may be due to the timing and the other catastrophic activities that were going on around us, and then you add this to it, and it becomes more noticeable. Also, baseball players. A ton of baseball Hall of Famers, which for me is I noticed those. But like Don Larson, Tom Seaver, Bob Gibson, Lou Brock, Joe Morgan,
Yeah, that's
Whitey
crazy.
Ford, Phil Niekro, like a ton of them that were legendary. And Hank Aaron just passed away, and he was in 2021.
That's the biggest one for me.
Yeah, and it's just like a lot of them from that generation that are legendary type players all passed away real close to one another. I remember it was like one after another for a couple of weeks where, Tom Seaver and those guys are legendary, So that was my number 5. All right, Cade, what do you have for
Number 4.
My number 4 is skateboarding and longboarding.
Okay.
Both of them.
Yeah?
Longboarding lasted a while. From the beginning of the year, and not so much recently, but I would longboard consistently,
Yeah.
long distances. And it was with you guys a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. Really fun. I love longboarding with you guys. And then it developed into skateboarding. I started going to the skate park and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then again, I haven't been recently, but it was really fun. I made a lot of friends at the skate park, and I did a lot of cool things.
Yeah.
And yeah, It was memorable.
You've always kind of struck your wrestling coach, as a skater.
Yeah.
And you just fully embraced the role.
Yeah.
This
Even
year.
if I didn't skate, I never really skateboarded.
Yeah.
Like ever, but he thought I did. So I was like, I might as well should. If I have a skateboard, like I can do it right now.
I'm sure he's gonna love it when you come in with a sprained ankle.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did hurt my ankle from skateboarding.
Yeah, I remember.
That was not fun.
I love longboarding with you guys too. It's been hard after I got COVID to really do anything.
Mm-hmm.
During COVID, it was impossible, and since then, I mean, I feel better, but I lose my breath very easily now. My lungs haven't recovered all the way, so I can barely. I'll climb a flight of stairs, and I'm not tired physically, but I have to catch my breath still. Like my lungs are still not back. So
you're like not sweating or anything, but your lungs are just.
yeah, it's hard for me to breathe, especially with a mask on and my glasses and all that. God. Okay. All right. Is that it for skateboarding?
I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it.
Yeah.
It was just fun.
It was a big part of 2020 for you.
Yeah.
All right, Jet, what do you have for number 4?
We already talked about it a little bit, and that's just COVID of what happened. But I think COVID and politics, like with people and the internet, and like the general media, is not that different.
Yeah.
And all my friends.
Yeah. COVID became a very political thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As with everything.
Yeah. I mean, COVID obviously had huge impacts on our life. I have it on my list too, and I'll get there eventually. But what about COVID kind of stood out to you this year?
What do people call it? Anti-mask wearers or whatever?
Yeah.
I think that's just stupid.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing about it, okay? Like, do the masks help? Maybe, maybe not, probably. I mean, it makes sense if you just use basic reasoning skills that it's going to block
Germs.
particles coming from your mouth and your nose that other people could breathe in. So it probably helps. But let's just say that we don't know for sure, okay? But even if it might help, why not wear it? COVID is extremely contagious.
Yes.
I know because I caught it and I don't go anywhere, and your mom caught it and she doesn't go anywhere either. It takes one person to get it, and then like it's going to go to everybody in the house, and we're really lucky that you two didn't get it. Katie, you were able to stay with friends.
It's insane how I didn't get it because
I don't know how I didn't get it.
Jet should have really gotten it.
I was exposed to 3 people.
Yeah, and one of them was his wrestling practice partner who came in sick for a week before he
Yeah.
stopped coming in.
That's crazy.
We won't say his name. We all know who it is.
Yeah, we do.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, crazy that you didn't get it, Jet. But yeah, COVID was a big thing this year, and it knocked me out. I was really sick.
Scary.
Yeah.
Scary thing. People don't realize it like until it hits them or
Yeah.
hits someone they know.
Right. All right. Is that it, Jet, for COVID? All right. My number 4, I put Christmas, and I know, Jet, you put this on your list too because we're talking
It
about
might be my number 3.
And it might sound a little strange, but Christmas was a really big deal for me this past year, and I'll try to explain why. So first of all, you two are getting older, and it's starting to hit me pretty hard as a father that I only have you two in the house with me for a couple more years, and then you'll be out on your own. And I know we'll always spend Christmases together, but the holidays tend to kind of bring out those sentimentalities. And second, it's getting harder to keep things like special, as you guys get older. It's still important for me to try to do that. Like I did the same thing for your birthday, Jet, that just passed, right? I decorated the house while you were out getting lunch, and I got you a present that you really loved. I was trying to make your day special. I sang happy birthday to you like 47 times.
Yes.
That was that was a really fun birthday for Jet for me.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
And that was the goal, and like when we were coming home from dinner and playing songs in the car, like I was, everybody play a song that you think Jet likes, like little things like that to try to make it a little bit special for you. It's important to me. And you had recently talked to me about like Halloween and Christmas not being as special as it used to be when you were younger. And because of that conversation, I tried to go all out this year for Christmas, and I tried to do it early to like invigorate that Christmas spirit. And we put lights up early, a lot of lights out front. Kate, you helped me with that. Like,
That was really cool.
Lining those lights up on the gutter.
The village for Christmas.
The village, yeah. We got a new Christmas tree.
We spent a lot of money on it.
Yeah, we set up a Christmas village, and that's something I've always wanted to do, and it was really fun. Jet, like you were so happy that day when we went out and got that stuff, and you were way into it. And then, do you want to say something about that?
Yeah, it's just what you said in the beginning of how it's hitting you hard that we're getting older. And it's hard to keep things as special. It's hard for me too because I'm getting older and things, just I see things a lot differently now.
Yeah.
And those two, what's it called? That my birthday and Christmas, they were really fun this year.
Yeah.
So I'm happy.
Well, good. And then a little bit more about that. Like last year in 2019 Christmas, it was kind of blah for us. We hadn't settled into this house yet because we moved earlier in the year. It's a lot smaller than our last house. Our Christmas tree wouldn't even fit. You know, we had to throw it away.
Yeah, this house kind of sucks compared to our old house.
Yeah.
Kind of.
We didn't put up any outside decorations. We never really got into the spirit like we usually do. I mean, in the old house, we put up 3-4 Christmas trees downstairs and then 2 more upstairs were the Star Wars ones. And we put lights up and all that stuff. And part of my 2020 effort was to like compensate for the fact that 2019 we didn't go all out like we usually do. And then COVID happened and it kind of messed everything up a little bit. I mean, COVID was already happening, but I got COVID and your mom got COVID and a bunch of our family members got COVID in December and it derailed all of our Christmas plans. And even on Christmas Day, I was still being hit pretty hard by COVID. But outside of all of that, I like the feeling that we had in the house. So it stood out to me as my number 4 most memorable 2020 moment. All right, Cade, what do you got for
Number 3.
Vacation trips. I know.
I knew this was going to come up on your list.
I know what's it called. With COVID and everything, you shouldn't be traveling a lot. But I did travel this year.
Yeah. And they weren't really vacations, but they ended up being vacations for you.
Yeah. I think the first trip I took was a camping trip for a week.
Did we go on a single vacation as a family in 2020?
No,
Wow.
because of COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, but me and my friends took a camper up to Oklahoma, and we stayed at a beautiful park in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And yeah,
One thing Oklahoma does have is some pretty nice parks
Nature.
and stuff and
Yeah.
natural beauty. Yeah.
beauty. It's beautiful there. I mean, we didn't see a lot of people since it was just us in the camper and doing whatever we wanted to. But things I remember most from that trip are playing with frogs, catching them. I caught like 8 and put in my pocket.
Yeah.
I didn't kill any of them, so like,
Good.
They just
You
jump
know.
out.
I caught a raccoon.
Yeah.
I got to hold it. It was in a trash can. And at first I thought it was going to bite me, but then it looked really scared.
Wait, you caught it? Like,
Yeah, like I grabbed it by its neck and picked it up, and it was just looking at me. Like,
that's
scared.
not a good idea.
I know. I thought about it for like a good hour before I did it, but I ended up doing it.
Yeah.
So I caught a wild raccoon.
I remember a really long time ago. I don't know if Cade remembers. We were like at some water park, but me and Cade, it was like kind of late, so we were like heading back, and we saw a raccoon, like 3 raccoons digging out of trash cans. And I was like freaking out. That was the first time I ever saw them.
I love
They're
raccoons.
so
I think
cute.
I think they're the cutest things.
They are very cute.
They look like thieves, though.
I'm not going
They
to
do.
count them really as vacations, but wrestling trips.
Yeah.
Those are so much fun. I always love going to tournaments, like especially in the beginning of the year. We went to like all the ones in Oklahoma, and state's always fun.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks I didn't get to go travel this year for this season.
Yeah.
But the ones in the beginning of the year were super fun.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you have this on your list, but you also took a trip to California this year.
That's what I was forgetting. Yes.
Yeah.
Me and Braxton flew to.
Now, it was for wrestling to train, but really you guys just like, and you did train, but you
Yeah.
also got to hang out with some extremely cool and talented wrestlers from California.
I met some cool people.
Yeah. Had a fun time. You also went to Maryland.
Yes, that was 2020, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was a fun tournament. Really fun tournament.
Yeah.
It's beautiful in Maryland.
Yeah.
Beaches are super nice.
You were
I
in,
ate so much crab.
Yeah.
Like every meal I had crab involved. I love crab.
So you got to take a few trips, even though the rest of us didn't, we didn't, because of wrestling, basically, and the
Yeah.
camping trip. Yeah. Was Colorado in 2020 or 2021?
2021.
Okay, so we can't
January.
count that one. But you also went to Colorado recently.
That was so much fun. That was like the best trip. Easily.
It was like a last minute weekend road trip for you guys, and that's really cool. So
I love
was
road
jealous.
trips.
Me too, and it's something we didn't get to do this year. So we'll have to do that soon as things calm down.
But where?
I don't know, anywhere. Let's just drive.
I want
South?
that.
Let's drive south.
Okay.
That's why I was talking to you about a road trip before this podcast.
Yeah.
The Quick Trip.
To Quick Trip. Oh, God. That should have been on your list. Quick Trip. That has been a huge part of your 2020.
They have the best pretzels ever. Like better than ballpark pretzels.
They have the best taquitos ever.
and pretzels.
But I feel like this year, racetrack has impacted us more.
Well, for the first part of the year, for sure, we went to racetrack. Like, especially when COVID hit, that was like the only place we went was racetrack.
But then it sucks.
Well, then
compared
we
to
started
Quick
going to Quick Trip. We're like, this is way better.
Yeah.
So we stopped going to racetrack.
I wish there was a Quick Trip as close as that racetrack is to us.
Yeah, I mean, but they're not that far. But it's not as close. Yeah, and so I get 2 taquitos and a Mountain Dew, and I'm good. You know. We went to Quick Trip today.
Yeah, I got a milkshake and taquitos.
How was the milkshake?
It was actually really good.
Yeah.
Everything I get there always is on point.
Quick Trip never disappoints.
I had a protein bar and body armor.
Yeah, well, that's because you're having to drop weight for wrestling. I had taquitos and a Mountain Dew, and
Red.
Code Red. So yeah, Quick Trip, honorable mention. All right, whose was that? Kate, that was yours. Vacation.
Yes.
Mine was Christmas, so it's you.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add?
No.
Okay. My number 3 is, and I just called it activities because it kind of encompasses a few things, but 2020 was memorable in this regard in that our normal activities became obsolete. COVID changed a lot of what we usually like to do together. For example, of the 3 of us would often go hang out at the mall. Mm-hmm. Couldn't really do that so much this year, or maybe go see a movie, and things like that got squashed. Even just going to Walmart became a big event, or racetrack or whatever, because we were actually getting out of the house and doing something. So we found out other ways to hang out and do things. Jet and I watched a ton of movies this past year.
Yes.
We already do this pretty regularly, but we did it even more in 2020. We played video games together. I got back on Star Wars The Old Republic. I hadn't played in years.
Yeah.
I continued to play and be the best in the house.
We didn't record more, which we could have, and that's a 2020 regret for me.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
We
why?
definitely
We had like all this time.
Why didn't we do it more? Okay, you know why? It's because Kate was never here in 2020.
Yeah, that's true.
If you guys asked me to record, I wouldn't leave.
Yeah, I mean, if we ask you, you stick around for it sometimes. All right, but we did see one. I think only one. We did see one movie in theaters in 2020. Do you remember what it was?
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Empire Strikes Back.
That was amazing.
Which was really cool. That's why I wanted to put that on my list, but I kind of like enveloped it in this. It was so cool to see that in theaters. I never had, so it was awesome.
It was also awesome because it's like you said, it's the first time we've been in a movie theater in forever.
Yeah, and it was empty.
And it was Empire, which is great.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I wish we could like see all of them.
Yeah,
Like, from start to finish,
like a huge marathon.
Besides Rogue One.
and just spend the whole
You're such a hater.
and spend the whole day in the theater. I think that'd be awesome.
That would be cool. They did offer a package like that when The Force Awakens came out, where you would watch 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, or maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't remember, but it would lead right up into Rogue One. So yeah,
How long would that be? 'Cause we did also spend like 14 hours at Stonebriar
that's true.
for Force Awakens.
While we waited in line, that
Last
was for the
Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, my bad.
Well, they're about 2 hours apiece. They get a little bit longer with the prequels, so maybe 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, plus another hour, 13 hours, plus some time in between, 14. There you go.
I think The Last Jedi, when we were waiting, I actually enjoyed the waiting part more than the actual movie.
Yeah.
I mean,
The waiting part was fun.
The
Yeah.
movie, I don't even want to talk about. It's controversial. I think it's just all right. It has issues.
It's the
but
worst
the
Star Wars
waiting,
movie.
but the waiting was really fun for me. Like,
Yeah.
those other people were playing Smash until like it was my first time ever seeing that. We got
Cade
food and
wore
stuff.
a C-3PO singlet, wrestling singlet.
We had
and
like a whole setup
did
too.
a back handspring.
He ran around, did flips all over the
Yeah.
theater.
We had like a whole setup. It was fun.
It was fun.
And the movie was weird.
Yeah. That was a fun day, though, for sure. What else was I going to say about that? Oh, yeah. Other activities got curbed, too. Like, there was no freestyle wrestling season.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
I love freestyle and Greco.
That was a bummer. Folk style season for this year, like starting in 2020, has been way delayed.
Yeah.
It's not starting until March for you, which normally it's in like October, November. So that was weird. Major League Baseball was way shortened. There were only like 60 games instead of 162. And
Sucks.
there were no attendance at the games, which was a bummer because I love going to games.
I love going. Yeah, I miss going to baseball games.
I had a chance to go to one game this year because they opened up attendance in the World Series.
Why didn't
World
you go?
Series. And it was in Arlington. Like, it's here. Like, I could have gone. And it was in one location because of COVID. They played all the games for the Dodgers and whoever the Dodgers beat. Who did they play?
It's been a while.
Of the Rays. They beat the Rays. And I had a chance to go to a game. My friend, my old coworker and friend called me and said, I have an extra ticket. Do you want to go to the game? And I'm like, I'm in California for work. I was where the Dodgers normally are, just outside of LA, and I couldn't go to a World Series game. Oh, what a bummer. But yeah, our activities
Should
were.
have sailed back.
I couldn't even travel because we thought you had COVID. All right, so that was my number 3 activities, which were just way impacted by everything this year. It was just weird.
Yeah.
All right, kid, what's your...
Number 2.
Self-development and improvement,
Okay.
mentally and physically.
I like this. Where are you going with this?
In 2020, we spent a lot of time by ourselves, whether it's in your room, watching something, or just contemplating life, or taking up hobbies like skateboarding.
Yeah.
I
And
feel like we've
fashion
all
and
done
stuff
that.
like that.
Like
I spent more
life.
time this year shopping online than I did probably doing anything else in school.
Is this part of your self-improvement?
Yes, because physically I changed my appearance this year a lot,
You did. That's true.
and it started to be more for what I liked about myself, more than, let's say, dressing or doing things to impress other people.
True.
Where I did before. I spent a lot of time shopping.
Yeah.
And a lot of time looking at different clothes,
Shoes
different
especially.
different designers, and
Yeah.
just finding things that I like. Whether I could afford it or not, I couldn't, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, I spent a lot of time developing on what I like, and like, I don't know how to say this. It just branched into what I dress today, and I don't dress for other people, but I dress for myself,
Yeah.
and it makes me more happy.
Good.
Yeah, I don't always need the recognition of other people. Like, oh, I like what you're wearing. It's cool.
Sure.
You know?
That's kind of how it started for you, like in 2019. Like,
Yeah. I
when you
dress for
started to
other
get into-
people.
You started to get into like designer brands, and when you got a little bit of money, you bought like a Gucci belt and things like
Yeah.
that.
Now I just wear what I like about and what's comfy for me.
Yeah.
And what fits my style.
That's good. I like
And
that.
I mean, I started doing it like a little early on in the year, and now I'm getting recognized for that, and it means more to me than being like, wow, that's a really cool belt you got on.
Yeah,
you
because
know,
you have your own style.
yeah. And when I hear someone like, man, I really like your style, like everything flows together so well, and it like represents you, that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And I really like, I don't know.
He's kind
I
of
know I'm saying kind of the same thing as I was before, but it means more to me now.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
on the wrestling team. That's kind of what he's known for: fashion, and what's it called? Music.
Yeah.
What Cade's known for.
And for being able to do really cool things.
Not really, but
What?
just those first two.
We had this conversation before, and you were like, Cade's known for being able to do really cool things. That's why I said that. Those were your own words.
I never said that.
Okay.
Oh,
I have this little video of Cade doing like 3 gainers off of 1 foot in a row. That's pretty cool.
I can do that.
Everyone thinks doing a backflip is so hard. I think like 90% of the people in the world can do a backflip.
It's
if they
hard because of the mental.
Yeah,
It doesn't take a lot of athleticism. It's all momentum.
Yeah.
Like if you run really fast and you jump really high, you can do a backflip.
How do you do it on 1 foot without a running start, though?
It's momentum. How you just swing your foot.
And happen to have a lot of natural
No,
athleticism. and
it's all about
balance.
commitment.
I would break my neck.
I could teach you how to do a backflip. Give me like
I have done backflips before.
yeah.
But like 20 something years ago.
Now I think you can do it.
And there's no way I would even try it.
I've seen less athletic people do backflips before,
I fell off of a fence and landed on my face this year.
and you were fine.
I thought I was gonna die.
That was like a 6-foot fall.
That was like a 12-foot fall because the
Yeah, 'cause
fence
you're
is 6 feet and
you're
I'm
6 feet
also
tall.
6 feet.
Yeah.
What's it called? The kid on our team, Brantley, he's big, like really big, like 280.
Yeah.
No, I'd say he's like 250, 240.
He can do a backflip, yes, but he's also a
295.
kid. I'm not. I'm gonna tear my quadricep and pull a hamstring and break my neck
With good stretching and preparation, you can do it safely.
in 5 years. Sure. All right, Kate. Anything else on self-improvement?
Just, I don't know, mental health and physical health.
Yeah, you've been.
Was a
I feel like
big part of 2020.
2020 for you, and maybe this is related to that. It seems like you're way more confident, just in yourself. You know, just kind of being who you are. You've got a really good group of friends that you hang out with a lot, and everything just kind of feels good. You know?
Yeah, it was a really feel good this year.
Yeah.
I feel like
Even though like the circumstances may be bad,
Y'all
I felt
too-
good this year.
Yeah.
I tried to make the best out of it.
Yeah.
y'all two are like confident. out of us four, I'd say y'all two are way more confident than me and Mom.
You think so?
Yes.
Maybe.
What do you mean by confident?
Just like comfortable.
Just bold too. Like you're probably the most bold person I know, Cade.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Next,
Thank you.
moving on.
All right. All right, Jet, what's your number 2?
School.
All right, let's talk about school.
I have not been in school.
Yeah, you basically you came home from spring break in 2020 and never went back.
Yeah, I joke about it to my friends all the time. I call myself a middle school dropout.
Yeah, I mean it's been weird. There a lot of people are experiencing this because they either like Cade, you chose to go back to school and you had the option. A lot of people kept their kids at home, and a lot of areas mandated that.
Yeah.
And the homeschooling thing is really weird. I think
It's tough.
Yeah,
It's really tough.
I know you struggled with it.
Yeah, I did because I can't pay attention to that. I
Yeah.
mean, if I don't have to do it right then and there, am I
Yeah.
going to do it? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, working from home is kind of the same thing. When I was working from home, it was like, all right, I have my work right here, or I've got Netflix right here. Like Netflix is always going to win, or at least I could have it going and like go back and forth. But it's hard to stay focused when you have other alternatives that are like way better. I get that.
But it's crazy because COVID already made a lot of people have a lot more free time. Now that COVID and I have no school, I had so much free time.
Yeah.
And
what do you do with it?
I'll tell you with my number 1 what I spent most of my free time on.
I know what it is.
Everything was so I don't know, crazy. What time did COVID start? Like
March.
March?
Yeah, because I started my new job on March 9th, and I was there for 2 weeks before I came home.
Because I remember spring break. It got extended another week.
Yeah.
And I was like, such a good feeling. I was
Oh,
out
yeah, I remember
bowling
that.
at a birthday party with like my best friends, and then we were already having a great time, and suddenly we get this email that spring break has been extended another week.
Yeah.
And we're all like, this is gonna be like the best year of our lives. And then it's just like 6 months of just change.
Yeah.
And, change can be good or bad, but it was different.
Well, in those beginning stages, it was all, nobody knew how long it
All
was going to
speculation,
last.
yeah.
It's all speculation. So extend spring break a week. Sure, sounds
I remember
great.
the thoughts going through people's heads like, there's no way this will reach the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be done by the year.
Right.
Everyone thought that.
Everybody thought it would be done in like a month or two, and then by summer, and then by September, and then
And now we have 400,000 deaths in the U.S. from COVID.
Oh, we do?
more than that. I think there were
many
100,000 in
cases?
January alone.
Really?
Yeah,
How many cases?
a ton, millions.
Yeah.
Worldwide, it's a sad thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is, and it's not done, and who knows when it will be. We're just all kind of
What
adapting
if
as
it
we
just stays for a really long time, and we just have to
Well, if
live
everyone-
with this process for
Can you get it
ever?
twice?
Yeah, you can get it because it mutates. So if you get it, because I had it, they said I'm probably good for 3 to 5 months. I'm like I'm COVID proof right now with my antibodies, but the strain mutates just like the flu does, and I could get it again, and I really don't want to because it really sucked. It was horrible.
Did it suck because it was bad for you, or that you couldn't go anywhere?
It was not the not going anywhere. I did not want to go anywhere. I felt awful.
Okay,
I
yeah.
felt awful.
That's the part I
It's
want.
on my list. I'll get to it more, but I felt awful, and it was a little bit scary for me because I have other underlying health issues. So the fear mixed with how awful I felt was not a good combination. All right, my number 2, I put politics, and we talked about this some, so I'm going to skip over a lot of the stuff, but I debated a long time internally whether or not to include this topic on my list. I really hate talking about politics in general. I don't intend to express any of my political beliefs in this episode. Normally, it's something I avoid talking about like the plague. It's always a toxic conversation, especially on social media, and everything is so divisive. However, it was a huge part of 2020 for lots of reasons, and in fact, my interest in politics was somewhat reinvigorated this year after being dormant for like 2 decades. The election was a big part of that, but really it was the events that preceded the election that led to Election Day being really interesting. Mm-hmm. For the first time since 2004, I actually cared about who won the election. Like I had an invested interest in rooting for somebody, which I haven't really in 16 years. The Black Lives Matter movement was a big part of the 2020 politics discussion. And one takeaway I had from all the events that occurred is that it opened up a lot of really good discussions between the three of us.
Yeah.
Cade, you're at an age where kids are becoming politically charged and aware, and we discussed why there were two radically different reactions to the BLM movement, right? You have some people that believe so far on this, and so some people right on the other
But
side.
I'm glad it happened because it did spread awareness for it.
I was getting to that too.
Politics
I
are
was going to say the
so.
same thing.
One thing I hate about them, politics now are so black and white. Like, there's no gray area anymore.
Yeah.
It's either like you're way right or you're way wrong. Like,
Yeah, you're
there's no
absolutely right.
reasoning.
And Jed, at your age, kids are still primarily informed by what's in their house,
Yeah.
by their parents, and less informed on their own. And we talked a lot about that, why some of your friends are so far on one side or the other. And whether or not you believe in the Black Lives Matter movement, okay, this is what you just said. One thing that cannot be denied is that it was so prevalent that it could not be ignored.
Yeah.
And that led to
And
a lot of great discussions.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about deaths the other year. I think, with like George Floyd and all the other people that suffered the unfair social justice, whether you believe in it or not.
Yeah.
I mean, you know about it.
Sure.
Everyone knows about it.
It's impossible.
You know it happened.
It's like-
and it's been going on for a long time. And now that it's just getting filmed is crazy.
Yeah.
And being put out there for everyone to see because it's been going on for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. And on a personal level, one thing I noted about 2020 is that it really brought out a lot of ideas about what it means to be an American for me.
Mm-hmm.
And lately, and I say that because lately it's been embarrassing to be an American in a lot of ways.
I feel so divided.
Yeah. And we had, even before all this politics stuff, there were like school shootings. That's what America was known for a long time was like,
It was a regular thing that happened.
yeah, people
that should
going-
not be normal.
It's so strange. Americans have been known for having extremely divisive political stances. Insurrections, topics like racism and sexism so often being thrown around at each other. And I'll just say it, our former president tweeting like a moody teenager was embarrassing too. It's all been a mess. And I saw someone post on Facebook during that mess, someone from Europe, and he wrote an open letter to Americans asking us to get our stuff together, keeping it PG. But he did it in a way that made a lot of sense. He spoke about America being an example that a lot of other countries have traditionally strived to imitate in some way, whether that's our economy or our culture or our openness to foreigners and all of that. And he said that it was really hard to see that right now because of this great divide that has split us all as a society. And that divide has seemed to change some really normally rational and intelligent people into really loud idiots, and they just stand on their soapbox and on social media and scream. And I have my own beliefs on what has caused a lot of that, and this isn't the forum to really broadcast them, but it has brought a lot of that to the front of my mind lately. And I mentioned this before, I try to talk to you two about these things in a way that allows you to express your opinions, form your own ideas, but also making sure that you're aware of why there's an opposing side. Mm-hmm. And I'll never tell you what to believe, but I'll make sure that you understand the other side before you commit to a path. So politics was a big deal for me in 2020 also. And that's that. All right, Cade, what do you got for...
Number 1.
It was hard to pick one idea that was most relevant and what stood out to me most in 2020, besides the people that were involved in it, obviously. All of you guys, like everyone in my family, I mean, spending time with you guys during quarantine and stuff like that, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Meeting new people, like my little group of friends that I formed. I'll never forget this year and like the things I did with everyone. And the only thing that impacted me the most was the people that were involved in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. But, like,
yeah,
there's a lot of people this year that made huge impacts on me and helped me build, like, my character and my, personality. And I can't see where I am today without those people. And I'm thankful, whether it's a positive impact they have or a negative, I'm thankful that they were in my life. Because it means a lot to me.
Yeah, that's really sweet. I like that. I mean, it's important to kind of acknowledge the people that are important to you.
Yeah.
And the fact that that's your number one shows that you've been thinking about it a lot this year, and that's beautiful. I like that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Jet, you're one of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're so excited to talk about your number one. All right, Jet, what's your number one?
My number one, since I've had so much time in quarantine, no school, COVID, only thing I've had to do was 2 practices. But for the majority of the year, it was just I would go to 1 practice and sleep all day.
Yeah.
But when I was awake and not at practice, I would play video games. Well, not video games. 1 video game that I become the best in this house.
Second best in this house.
And probably the world at. That's Mortal Kombat. X.
Mortal Kombat. Jet is like really good at Mortal Kombat now.
And yeah,
You're like as good at Mortal Kombat as I am at Mario Kart.
yeah, probably better.
No.
Okay, let me tell you a story.
No.
There's this famous, what's it called, Mortal Kombat player. He didn't really go to tournaments, but he's just sort of like this local online hero that a lot of people encountered. His name was Big Daddy Goro.
Okay.
And he's a beast. Like, he's really good.
Goro is a beast. He's got 4 arms.
And
Same with Grievous.
I got him online. His record was like 2,200
Grievous would own Goro. Keep going.
to like 1,000. Not if Goro had lightsabers.
What was his record?
Like 2,200 and like, I don't remember the losses.
That's a lot of losses.
No, 2,200 wins.
Oh, okay.
He didn't go his main. If he went his main, I probably would have lost. But I went Scorpion. I wasn't even as good as I am at this point. And I beat him. And I recorded it.
You beat Big Daddy Goro.
Because I'm so good. Like,
You are so
There's
good.
one thing that people remember coming to my house is going upstairs and watching Jet play Mortal Kombat, and they're amazed because it's a game people have played. It's a famous game. Mortal Kombat
Everybody's
X was
played
a
it.
big game.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have tried it at least once or played it with someone else, and they see Jet and he's just juggling his opponent in the air for a good like 40 seconds, and his face like. Everyone says the same thing. He's so focused. Like,
Dude, imagine
he
being that
mouths-
focus with everything else.
Dude, he mouths like the movements he does with his fingers as he's playing the game. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen that kind of dedication and like focus and
That's the
concentration into a video game like he does. With
I'd
Mortal
say
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, it's not that hard to get good at, but it takes it takes time. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
I'd say for the first 6 months I played it, and like to where I am now, I would destroy my past. Like, wouldn't even be close.
Yeah.
Because if there's someone you fight that's better than you on Mortal Kombat, it's not fun. You'll just get destroyed.
Makes sense. I remember when the first time they came over and Braxton, your friend Braxton, was like, I'll play Jet, I'll beat him. And he went up there. And then I remember hearing them mutter afterwards, like, it's not even fun to play him. Like, just absolutely destroyed. And I have kind of a similar memory because when I was in college, this was in like, 2001, 2002 time frame. Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo would come out in like 93, 94. And that's when I played it a lot and through high school. And I was just good at it, And so were my friends, but I was probably the best. Me or Brian, one of us, but I usually beat him. And I knew we were really good at it. And then my friends from Arizona, Evan and Nick, they road tripped from Tucson to Plano, where my house was, to spend some time with me in the summer, which was really cool. We had a great time. We actually went to Austin and partied there for a little bit too. But we played not Mortal Kombat. We had Mario Kart while they were here, and Evan was like, I thought I was good at this game until I played you. It's kind of a similar type reaction. But yeah, Jet, you did play a lot of Mortal Kombat, and you're still playing.
I'd say my best Scorpion, most fun Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero is the best
He's
character.
super fun to play.
Yeah, I love Sub-Zero. All right, anything else about Mortal Kombat?
No, we can move on.
All right, get over here. That wasn't a sound clip. That was my voice. I'm super talented.
Wait, that wasn't? You sure?
All right, my number one. This one is a very personal one, but it's health. My health this year, 2020. Man, my health. It was bad for everybody. I feel like it was especially bad for me. First of all, I turned 40, right? So that's a milestone birthday that seemed to accompany a lot of health issues I never had to worry about before. So I'm going to rattle some of those off. Started the year with the flu. Okay, everybody gets the flu sometimes and it sucks, and I was super sick. It happens, whatever. Right after I got done with the flu, I had an emergency surgery to remove a wisdom tooth that had ruptured from my mouth and gotten infected. And the surgery was done in a dentist chair, not with an oral surgeon, and without knocking me out. I had local anesthetic, which is a giant needle, right? Applied 7 times during the surgery.
Jeez.
Doesn't it usually take like not long to do that? And
Okay.
aren't they under for the whole time?
Yes, that's what normal people. I had my tooth ripped out of my face and it bled forever, and I felt the sutures because my anesthetic wore off again at the end, and I felt him tugging on the back of my mouth with a needle and thread, pulling it back together, and I just gripped the sides of my armchair because I did not want more anesthetic shots because those hurt too, and I just squeezed the crap out of the chair and until it was done. And then I bled forever. I drove
Yeah,
myself.
a really high pain tolerance.
I drove myself to go pick up pain meds and antibiotics, and it was a mess. And I told people this story, And I went back to work, and they were like, "Oh my god, I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth out, and they just knocked me out, and it took 15 minutes. I didn't even feel a thing." And I'm like,
Why did they do it with you?
I think
Probably
it
because
was.
he wanted the bonus.
I think it was a little bit of shady dentistry. I didn't know anything going in. I just went in because I felt like there was something wrong. I've never had a cavity. Like, I don't even know what a toothache feels like. But in the back of my mouth, it was like hurting, and I couldn't chew on that side, and I could feel it spreading down my neck and up my head. So I knew it was some sort of infection. So I went in, and he's like, "Yeah, your wisdom tooth has ruptured the skin, the flesh in the back of your mouth. It needs to be removed. Do you want me to go ahead and take it out now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's get this fixed." If he had been like, "The alternative is I can schedule you with an oral surgeon and you'll be knocked out and it'll be way better," I would have obviously chosen that. But not knowing any better, I was like, "Yeah, let's fix this," you know? Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. I felt him like ripping the thing out of my mouth for like 40 minutes, and it was just one tooth, and I was not knocked out. And I didn't even have a surgeon. It was awful. Awful. So then, after that happened, I developed or discovered some pretty serious heart issues. I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but it was serious enough for me to have to go see a cardiologist and have tons of tests done to see what's causing it. And it's still kind of unknown, and it's a work in progress, but that was a big deal. I had a second emergency surgery done after. Actually, I was at the cardiologist. I was doing my stress and fitness test where you have to run on a treadmill with those little things attached to you. And I had to go have an emergency surgery done right after that because I had a cyst that ruptured on my stomach. And that was extremely painful, and it really sucked. And then I got COVID after that. So it wasn't one of those,
That's pretty bad.
It was a rough year for me.
It was like nonstop.
Yeah, the whole year. And it wasn't one of those, I had a cough for a few days COVID. I was knocked out for weeks. My temperature didn't drop below 101 for 13 straight days. There was not one break in those 13 days. You know, like when you get the flu and your fever spikes up to 102, 103, 104. And then a couple hours later, maybe you take some medicine. It comes down to like 99 and you feel good for like an hour. And then it spikes. I didn't have a break for 13 days. And it peaked at 104. That was the worst day. I felt like crap. And as an honorable mention, I fell off the fence and landed on my face. So bad. I'll be honest with you guys. Okay, that was painful when that happened. I blacked out for a second. Like, it was not cool. But the worst part of it for me, and this is just me being a stupid sentimental dad, is like growing up, your kids, they kind of like idolize you in some sort of way. You know, they kind of put you on a pedestal. Like, my dad's awesome. My mom's awesome. He can do this and that, and he's cool, and he's strong, and he's bigger than me and all that. And then there's at a certain age, you realize, like, my dad's old, you know? Like, he can't do the same things he used to be able to do. And I felt like that was my old dad moment when I fell off the fence and I couldn't, because the challenge was to walk all the way around the border of our fence. And I got like halfway and I was going too fast. And I tried to catch myself by...
You're going really fast.
I was like booking.
Yeah. You say that, but then it was, you almost beat us. Like, if you went around, like, you went all the way around, you were, like, 3/4, by the way. Like, you were almost done, because you started, like, on the long side and fell on the short side.
That was scary, though, because...
Yeah, Jed went, like, less than a mile per hour the whole way.
Well, I had to stop and wait for him, because I was catching
But
up.
it was scary, because the conversation before... What's that called? A little thing that... You said that your uncle fell on and... Like,
oh, yeah, that railing around our garden.
Yeah, we were just talking about those. Like, if you fall on those, it's scary.
It's scary, yeah.
And so when you fell, I'm like, oh no, did he fall on that and, like, lose his kneecap or something?
Yeah, that was scary because I had to, like, try to avoid that on my way down. But I was going so fast, and when I started to lose my balance and the fence was shaking because I'm heavy, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, I'll just go faster and I'll catch up. Oh. And I was catching up, but then I stepped on, I thought it would give me more balance to step on the support
the little caps
beam.
On the top.
Yeah, because it's more stable than the fence, and that's probably true. What I didn't take into consideration is that it's like a slippery dome on top. So my foot hit that and went right off the side, and then I landed right on my face, and it hurt a lot. Like all of my, like that, my face broke the fall. So
I walked the whole way going slow.
Yeah, I know. I had to wait for you in the corner. Remember that?
It wins the race.
And that part of the fence sucks because, like, usually it's like a line of wood, and then like one's in the middle, gaps in the middle, and then another line of wood on the other side.
Yeah.
There's no other line of wood on the other side.
Right.
That one's just like the thin line and then the gaps.
And it's wobbly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's scary.
And so what I can't do is what you do when you start to lose your balance. Oh, I'll just do a backflip. That's what you would do. I'm starting to fall. Okay, backflip. Land on my feet. I don't have that ability. So, yeah, that was not fun. All right, but that was my number one. Health was a big deal for me this past year, and I'm hoping 2021 is a better year for me for that. All right, Kay, did you have any
Honorable mention.
Not really. There's a lot of things I left off this list that I could have kept on, like events and stuff like that, but it would have taken a long time for me to correlate those into a topic.
All right. Jet, you have any honorable... Whoa.
No.
Were you just crossing your eyes?
No, I do not have any honorable mentions.
Okay. I had a couple. I changed jobs, which was a big deal. I've been with the same company for a dozen years, and I switched. I got to work from home for a while. We had a niece born. I had a niece cousin for you guys.
yeah.
Zoe, baby Zoe was born, which has been weird because we haven't been able to spend much time with her. But
I've seen her like twice.
yeah, but she's super cute. And I got to see the biggest tree in the world.
That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
I love trees.
I was in California, which
Did you
was
get to climb it at all?
no, you can't even touch it.
Sucks.
Yeah, but that
it's mesmerizing enough just looking at it.
oh man, I went to California for work, and on the weekend I
There's
went
a
out.
bunch of other big trees around it too, right?
Oh, there were tons. Yeah, I was in the giant forest, and that's what it's called, the giant forest. And it was amazing. I did lots of cool things that I got to see when I was out there, but that one was my favorite.
What's that one tree's name? Ent?
The Treebeard?
Treebeard.
Yeah. I got to see like the Earth version of Treebeard. All right. So after, I guess that concludes our honorable mentions. Cade, what is your...
The worst.
It's hard to decide between quarantine, but quarantine was also like a blessing in disguise. Everything that happened bad was also a blessing
Yeah.
in disguise. Originally, I had George Floyd and everyone else that suffered the
That's
terrible
what I
consequences
Yeah.
of social injustice that sadly we have to be, that's part of our nation.
Right.
It's
It's part of our culture and our history at this point.
Yeah, it's a sad thing to hear, but it was also a good thing. But of course, it's a bad thing that happens, and it shouldn't happen in
Right.
the first place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my thoughts and prayers go out to everyone that suffered those terrible consequences. It's
Very
unfair.
nice. Yeah. Agreed. Jet, did you have any? Yours was the same?
Basically, you just said it.
Yeah.
Smart.
You did say it very well. Good job, Cade. You've done that a lot this episode.
Thank you.
My worst, this was hard for me because there was a lot of bad, but we talked about a lot of it already. But the one thing that really stood out as like a WTF moment in 2020 was the toilet paper famine.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's pretty bad.
just
'Cause I
weird.
love pooping.
Me too. And COVID doesn't require more toilet paper. In fact, I probably pooped less during the time I had COVID because I wasn't eating anything. Why was this a thing? Why were we out of toilet paper? People are so dumb sometimes. A lot of the time. Anyway, that was my worst. All right. We're moving on to listener choices. So this one was kind of an interesting topic to do listener choices because we didn't do usually we ask a very specific question like what's your favorite this or what's the most overrated that, and we
So
get
you
a lot
of the same answers.
Yeah, and this was different. It was what memory from 2020 stands out the most, and everybody's answer was different, because people actually made it really personal. I really loved reading these. It was a very cool thing. I mean, Bethany Simeone said it was watching the BLM protest, tens of thousands of people marching peacefully through LA. It was very powerful. But then she also said going to the store and seeing the shelves empty, and this kind of post-apocalyptic, bizarre scene from a movie. And I had a similar moment to that when I was flying to California, walking through the airport and seeing just a sea of people wearing masks and avoiding each other. You see it at Walmart and the other places, but it's different when you're at a place like that. I feel it really felt like a movie. There were some people that talked about deaths in their family. Kim Norvell said she lost her Uncle Todd, but she also made some cool new friends. Paige Gibbs said she lost her father and gained an angel. So there's a lot of personal stories like that, and I think that us doing this episode was a way for us to reflect on that. But hearing or reading these responses on the Facebook poll was just really cool. Lonnie Conway said she was really sick and she thought she might die. So then she had this new appreciation for life and how simple things like sitting in the sun and catching our breath became so profound. Mm-hmm. It's been a rough year, but if you made it alive, then it's an accomplishment. Some of my family commented about my Uncle Dave passing, which was super sad. Carly Sherrard, who's a friend of mine from high school, she said stage 4 cancer diagnosis followed by the world shutting down and having to hibernate out of COVID, because of COVID. And just as an update, she said it came back in February, but she's kicking its ass and doing great. So we're rooting for you, Carly.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. So Sonia Barber said she panic bought a huge pack of the world's worst toilet paper, which I thought was funny. We did the same thing with paper towels because we couldn't find them anywhere.
Viva paper towels.
Vivas are great, but
They're amazing.
we have those really crappy ones that we're using
Yeah.
now because everywhere was out, and we just bought this gigantic case of the world's worst.
I never had
Paper
more
towels.
appreciation for paper towels until we started getting Viva.
Yeah.
They're so nice. They're like thick, but
Yeah.
not like paper thick.
I like how
I don't think they're
it like
that
clings to
It
the.
doesn't make that much of a difference. Really.
I think it makes a huge difference.
Oh man, have you ever
I'm
tried?
more comfortable.
Have you ever
wiping my-
tried to clean up a spill at school with the paper towels there?
Oh my god!
Not
It
worth
just
it.
spreads it all
It's
around.
horrible. It doesn't do anything.
It doesn't absorb anything. That's an extreme example, but Viva is way better than what we have in the kitchen right now. Sonia also said she had a baby in 2020, so congrats. She put a picture too, and she's super adorable. Amber Ayers Bennett said her sister beat cancer, so that was a cool thing. So just lots of cool stories, and it was kind of fun to hear and uplifting to hear some of the other stories from 2020. So thank you to everybody who shared for that. That was really cool. Let's move on to the
Pew, pew, pew,
Good.
pew,
Glenn Solomon fun fact of the week.
pew, pew, pew,
Good.
pew.
So I did a little digging to find some interesting stuff about 2020, and basically all of it was COVID related. And we've talked about COVID a lot. And this is supposed to be a fun fact, so I went with something a little different, though still kind of related to COVID, whatever. When toilet paper was flying off the shelves, so were some food items, namely pasta, because you could buy pasta and it stays good in your pantry for a long time. So lots of people stocked up on it. One amusing side effect of that was that the pasta purchase surge it included a brand called Ann Summers. She makes what's called penis pasta. It's pasta shaped like wieners.
That's funny.
That's sick.
Yeah. And because everybody was buying pasta, she had Ann Summers penis pasta sold more product in 1 week in March than they did in all of 2019 by 1,300%.
Jeez, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Lots of wiener noodles.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think so too.
I want to try it. The pasta.
You want to try? I'm glad you clarified. Hey, Jet, do you have a pun of the week?
No. I can think of one.
All right, I'll play the little intro. What do you think?
It's time for Jet's Pun of the Week.
What you got?
Nothing.
Oh, come on. You got to have something.
I can't think of anything. Do you have one?
No, I didn't think of one this time. I should have. I should have come up with a backup for you.
Well, there's nothing really.
Come up with a Mortal Kombat one.
I will. Later.
Okay, fine. You're not getting a good job or a clap or anything for that.
I'll
That's
do
all.
better next time.
I hope so. You only had December, January, 3 months to prepare. All right. Do you guys have anything else to add before we wrap up?
Nope.
Wait.
What?
Never mind.
Did you almost have one and then you lost it? Okay.
I thought of one. Then no, it does not work out.
To wrap up this episode, I just want to say I'm really glad we did this topic because we had some good talks, and I think it'll be a good one to look back on later and remember things. So this was really fun for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it too.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
Yeah. Call us 469-607-521. That's 469-607-5861. And leave us a review on iTunes. Go do all the stuff. Please join us next time on 5 to 1 for our discussion on...
Do you have it there?
I mean, we could do trivia. We talked about that last time. We talked about one recently. Sequels.
We'll just sequels.
Movie sequels.
So top 5 movie sequels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Get
sequels.
back to pop culture. All right. Well, if that's it, then I guess we'll wrap it up. That was weird. Oh, I know why. There we go. Let me
Play it
try
again.
again.
Love you.